I admire the founders for establishing a representative democracy. We gotta, so
no.
Now just what he said he's a constitutional. I'm a constitution. I teach the Constitution. He called it a representative democracy.
Yeah. Right.
So he got it wrong. And then he said I admire people that use the document for social justice.
Yeah, that there is just as bad as calling it a democracy.
And so how can you say on one hand that the founders hit it wrong, but then you admire people that use the Constitution for social justice?
Well, I thought maybe you were talking about that constitutional law professor named Obama, who said in 2015 said that 99.9% of Muslims reject radical Islam. You brought that article to our attention, Del.
Absolutely. Let's talk about that article for a minute there. You know, when he said 99%.
Wow.
99.9.
I'm sorry, 99.9.
Yeah.
And here is from all kind of different reports from the Justice Department, the CIA, the Homeland Security. They said that the radicals are somewhere between 10
it's
to
about
15%.
it's about directly opposite of what he said as far as I'm concerned.
And then where they get this lone wolf from? Why is everybody so if you shoot somebody, all of a sudden you a lone wolf, even though you pledged allegiance.
Right, but if a Christian is brave enough to stand up and say our religion opposes homosexuality, all of a sudden that equates to the whole Christian religion. Not just one person.
As far back as the founders.
Go back to the founding when you say something like that too. Attack. So
they all had that in mind. Kill all of it.
Oh my goodness! Here, I just want to read a couple more. Boko Haram had. The president always talking about this is a religion of peace, but Boko Haram kidnapped 3 women near Chibok town in northern Nigeria. So they kidnapping women. It was 43, and Boko Haram also, they kidnapped and murdered 42 fishermen. The Taliban cut the head off and the eyes and peeled the skin off of one of their enemies. Last week we reported that they had 25 enemies that were working with the Iraqi government, and what they did is they dropped them in boiling oil and they all dissolved. Yeah. And this is a religion of peace. And he said it is 99.9% of them that are peaceful. And we actually supposed to believe this.
Yeah. And the suspected Orlando terrorist was a registered Democrat.
Oh my
Don't
goodness!
Look behind this curtain.
Yeah. Don't look behind. You know what? That's a good one right there. He was a registered Democrat. He was, so, matter of fact, here I want to play a little bit of Whoopi Goldberg, and we're going to tell her the reason why Whoopi don't want you to expose all this, because the truth is what you just said, that this guy they don't want people to, if they start really investigating, they find out that he was a registered Democrat.
Go back to the San Bernardino. This guy was like a commissioner or something. He had an inspector's job. He probably was a Democrat.
He probably was a registered Democrat, but they didn't want to. Of course, they didn't. So Derek, play 312 for me. Give me 312.
And not for nothing, all you people on Twitter that like to come after folks, back up. Because you can't explain this. No. You can't explain this away. You couldn't explain it in Sandy Hook. You can't explain it here.
You can't explain it. This is a constitutional representative government. We can't. We want to have dialogue. They always talking about having dialogue. But they don't want to have dialogue about this right here. They don't want to have.
They want to have monologue.
That's right. They want to tell you what to do, and that's what she just did. She told you what to do. Shut up. You can't explain this. Be quiet.
That's their position on abortion. If you can't have a baby, you shut up. You ain't got nothing to say.
Shut up. And the reason why she don't want you to explain find it and look into it. You know, like, and again, this is from the American Mirror. It said that the chair was a registered Democrat. They don't want you to. They don't want the American people to find this information out. They don't want this information out right there.
They're too worried about the fact that he was good at his job. You know, when he went to target practice, he got all A's on at the gun range.
He was a security officer, and he had a license permit to buy a gun in all 50 states.
Yeah.
So it was there was no law that you could have used to stop him from buying a gun. Second,
that tells you what they got in mind.
He went through the process of the 3-day waiting period.
Yeah.
He went through it.
But that tells you what they have in mind.
Okay.
Since he could get a gun, he keeps saying, well, easy access to an assault rifle.
Okay.
Easy access. Okay. Now, what their intent is to deny anybody any access. So, and that proves it. Here's the guy that did everything right.
Yes, sir.
He just did the wrong thing with the gun.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, but he was not doing everything right. I mean, he was under FBI surveillance.
Right.
And the
They
problem
should have stopped him, yeah.
Well, they should have, but the records are being scrubbed by direction from the Obama administration.
Yeah, true that.
Phil Haney, the DHS whistleblower, has revealed that many of his records on these kinds of people who are suspected terrorists are being scrubbed. Now, how many things do we need? How stupid are the American people? How much evidence do we need that our country is under attack?
Yeah.
That we are in a war?
We are in a war.
To what you're saying, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh. He said that there is a policy that if someone reports the guy like he was reported, that he was a problem. People were concerned about his behavior, and they reported it to the FBI or whoever, and nothing happened. And he was able to continue his life as it was, even though the FBI called him in and questioned him, followed him, put a tail on him, and followed him.
Wait a minute, the San Bernardino killer.
Yeah.
They
missed a bunch on her because
she was posting things to the internet.
Posting things,
and they're not allowed to look at social media.
She was a recent migrant, so it was just a lot that they missed.
And the whole thing of it is
a lot that they ignore because this administration wants you to ignore a lot of stuff.
They're clamping down on what these men in the FBI can do.
Yeah.
I love the law enforcement community, and I think that our first and best defense against not only radical Islam, but our own government is our local law enforcement community.
But the thing that I'm saying is that he also said that if some official in the Arab community doesn't call the FBI, that they won't take that investigation.
I get you. You know what? Because it was a neighbor, the San Bernardino neighbor. Remember, the neighbor said, "I saw him in the garage," and I seen us. And she said this right here. I didn't want to return him in because I didn't want to be
called a racist.
A racist.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's exactly what she.
And
matter of fact, John Brennan, the CIA director, said this right here. Derek, if you could play number 314. This is from the CIA director, Obama CIA director, John Brennan.
Unfortunately, despite all our progress against ISIL on the battlefield and in the financial realm, our efforts have not reduced the group's terrorism capability and global reach. The resources needed for terrorism are very modest, and the group would have to suffer even heavier losses on territory, manpower, and money for its terrorist capacity to decline significantly. Moreover, the group's foreign branches and global networks can help preserve its capacity for terrorism regardless of events in Iraq and Syria. In fact, as the pressure mounts on ISIL, we judge that it will intensify its global terror campaign to maintain its dominance of the global terrorism agenda.
Yeah, so that's him right there. He's saying that they still growing, they still have momentum, they still, they still have a lot of reach, they still have their hands out in a lot of areas. They still have their lone wolves that they encouraging to end their towns, their cities, to do acts of terror.
It's going to continue because they're getting special treatment.
They are.
They are exercising special rights.
Here, let's do this right here. We got Ken on line 1, and Ken, we only have a minute left. And good morning, Ken. How you doing?
Yeah, I just want to quickly comment that the fact is that true, devout, faithful followers of Islam are trying to kill us.
That's right.
And the federal government, beginning with Barack Obama, is aiding them.
Yep.
We agree with you 100%.
You're absolutely right.
100%. You don't have any pushback from us at all, Ken. Not at all.
And keep up the good work. I hear you on different radio stations, Ken, and you're spot on, and I appreciate hearing from you all the time.
Thank you, guys. Ken. Take it easy. Keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you, Ken. All right, folks. Well, we're getting towards the end of the show. This is a Father's Day weekend. I'm going to let Phil, a father, say, what would you want to say to all the fathers out there in the radio land, Phil?
The quote that you made about the first love of the daughter and the first hero of the son.
Yep.
It's nothing like that feeling to have. I fortunately have 6 kids altogether, 4 girls, 2 boys. So I got the wealth of it. So go out and do it.
All right, what would you want to say to all the fathers out there, Mayor?
Well, thank you so much for being the rock that this nation has been built upon. I love men, I love fathers, and happy Father's Day, and God bless America.
Happy Father's Day to you all. Thank you very much. Spend some time with your children, fathers. We love you all, and we'll see you next week. We love you. Thank you.
The Abolitionist Roundtable invites the Wham! Talk 1600 listeners to continue the roundtable discussions by mailing correspondence to Art of Michigan, Post Office Box 135, Garden City, Michigan 48135.
Or follow Phil, Del, and Janice at artofmichigan.com. You can also send emails to artofmichigan@hotmail.com. And most of all, continue to listen every Saturday and tell a friend.